Alright, so 1 minute wisdom from the Rebbe for today. So we know that we're holding in the middle of the month of Adar. Now, about the month of Adar, the Gemara tells us, Mishenichnas Adar marbe misimcha. When you enter the month of Adar, you increase in our joy. Now, originally, the Mishnah says, Mishenichnas of mima'atin misimcha. When you enter the month of Av, you decrease in joy. And the Gemara just comments on that Mishnah and says, just like you decrease in joy in the month of Av, when it comes to the month of Adar, we increase in our joy. Now, seemingly that shows two opposite things. On one hand, it shows that the main idea is the month of Av, that's really where the Mishnah is talking about, that's really the main rule. That you need a decrease in the month of Av in our joy. But Adar, we increase is just an additional fact. But on the other hand, we find the other way around, that the idea of the limitations of the joy that we have in the month of Av are limited. It's only in certain cases, and you're still allowed to have certain ideas of joy. As opposed to the joy which exists in the month of Adar, that has no limitations, as we know that the joy of Adar is in a way of Adar Yada. Purim has to be a joy which is unlimited, no restrictions, always extra joy. So seemingly, if we're learning out from Av, why is it that this has so much more restrictions and Adar is unlimited? So the explanation is that when it comes to the idea of joy, you always need to serve God with joy. And that's true about all times of the year. Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha, the only way to serve God is with joy. And the really inner idea of that is, because the whole idea of this world, the reason why we exist, is in order to build a dwelling place for God. And where does God dwell? In a place of joy. As it says, that in God's place there's the idea of joy always. And therefore, if you're coming to serve God, to build a place where He can feel comfortable, it has to be done in a joyous manner. This idea that sometimes you have to have the idea of decreasing in joy, like the month of Av, is because in order to be able to clean, just like to build a house, you first need to clean up the dirt, and only then can you start building a beautiful home. So too, we need to first clean out our dirt, clean out our schmutz, which comes from sins. And that's the idea of Av, where we decrease in our joy in order to get a little bit serious and clean up the dirt. But afterwards, we come to the main point, as even then, the whole point of the whole cleaning out is in order to build a house. So the whole time we're working in order to build a house, and that's the reason why we exist, as at all times we exist in order to serve God. And that's why it says, kashem, that just like, because through the stepping stool of the decrease in joy, you're able to reach a much higher joy, as Yisrael er min hacheshech, through the darkness you're able to reach a much greater light, and that's the light which is going to be unlimited in the month of Adar. L'chaim, l'chaim.